everybody, welcome to Trivia Ronin. I'm your host, Matt McNelly. Whether you're joining us live on Zoom or Twitch or after the fact on YouTube, welcome. We're happy to have you. Quick breakdown of the rules. 1, we are honor code here, so you keep your own score. Feel free to cheat. You get nothing. If you don't want to keep your score, you can play along with us at triviarat.com/Ronin, or this is a quick response code you can scan. Then you'll learn, then I keep the score for you. Whatever, you know how that goes. And 2, you'll have 45 seconds to answer each question. Do not show your answer until the time is up if you're on Zoom, or if you're playing along with us on Twitch, wait until there are about 5 seconds left on the clock. That should line up with us live. Y'all know the drill. Tonight, like I said, 30 questions, 10 of them Asian American Pacific Islander themed, 10 potpourri, 10 Waylas, and a story at the end that is about something interesting. I just found it. So we're excited about that. We're going to have a ball. Without further ado, welcome to Trivia Ronin. Here goes question number 1. Question 1. The first Asians to touch American soil, arriving on a Spanish galleon in October 1587, were from what modern-day country? 45 seconds. A Spanish galleon. Obviously, there were also Spaniards on said galleon. However, with 30 seconds left, I'll say they landed in California. They landed in California, just up the coast, if that helps you. The first Asians to touch American soil were from what modern-day country? Trivia Rat's got to start now. Da-da-da. Good guess, Emily. They are coming from that side of things. QVC's on it. Yep. Japan was an excellent guess. Real QVC got it, though. The Spanish at the time owned the Philippines. So they brought Filipinos, probably to work for free or very little money. And that's history. Question 2. Filipinos. First one's here. This man, still considered one of the greatest directors in the history of Hong Kong cinema, also made Face Off, Hard Target, and Mission Impossible 2. Who am I talking about? 45 seconds. Emily, don't beat yourself up. I knew that question had 2 guesses. Sometimes I do just a binary question. This man, still considered one of the greatest directors in the history of Hong Kong cinema, also made Face Off, Hard Target, the classic Van Damme flick Hard Target, and Mission Impossible 2. Emily's got an idea over in Twitch. I'd love to read the paper, Emily. Emily wrote a paper on this man. Ang Lee is an excellent guess. 3, 2, 1, show him. Chris knows it. Yep, there were 2 guesses on this one, Ang Lee and John Woo, but John Woo is the correct answer. John Woo, director of Face Off. What manga, this one's tough, also a term for a specific bathing suit, has over 480 million copies in circulation and had the highest initial print run of any book in Japanese history? 45 seconds. That's all the books. The biggest print run of any book in the history of Japan. Any manga heads out there? Or anime heads? This is tough if you're not. If you're not, we'll all just skip ahead. But also, your hint is it's a term for a type of bathing suit. It shares its name with that. That's I hear an excellent guess coming from the living room. It's not the correct answer, but it is an excellent guess. What manga, also a term for a specific bathing suit, has over 480 million copies in circulation, had the highest initial print run of any book in Japanese history? QVC, excellent guess. But otherwise, show it. Speedo, Thought, we're all coming up with good ones. I was actually looking for it's called One Piece. It's called One Piece. Yeah, no one's heard of it. Except if you're in Japan, and then everybody's heard of it. 480 million copies. So there you go. We learned something. Look it up. It seems really weird. It's about like a pirate ship, and they're searching for something called the One Piece, and it's anyway. Question 4. This Filipino restaurant, known for its Chicken Joy Yum Burger and sweet spaghetti, has 10 locations in the Los Angeles area. And I'm just here to plug it, guys. This is just me plugging a plug in this restaurant because it's delicious. Straight up delicious. Chicken Joy. Chicken Joy is really just fried chicken, guys. And Yum Burger's just a burger. But is it just those? Real QVC, not mandatory to live in the Los Angeles area for this question. However, they have a lot more locations in the Philippines. I'm just asking you about a Filipino restaurant. Emily knows it. 3, 2, 1, show 'em. Yeah. I mean, a valid guess on McDonald's, and spelling doesn't count, so Larry got it. Jollibee. It has an I. It's called Jollibee, guys. Yes. There's also one in Texas, QVC. I'm not sure where you are, but future president Dwayne Johnson is a national treasure, but we knew him only as The Rock. What was his signature finishing move? 45 seconds. He had a move he did. Ooh, cool hand. Rand. Good guess. Stone Cold Steve Austin had the Stone Cold Stunner. The Undertaker, I believe, was something grave related. What's Triple H's? Triple H has a... I can't remember. But the hint in this one is a little bit of the hint is future president, if that helps anybody. A little bit of the hint. Emily, great guess. That would finish people. But show him. Chris, you know it? I was going to say someone's got to know it. Yes, Chris knows it. It goes like this. 1, 2. I'm going off the turnbuckle. Bam. It's called the People's Elbow. The People's Elbow is how he used to finish those other chumps. He had to take both of his elbow guards off. He would always do that. It was very funny. Question 6. This man was the first Prime Minister of India and served that role until his death in 1964. But most of us in the West just know him for a specific style of jacket. 45 seconds. And by most of us in the West, I mean most of our parents. This is your obligatory boomer question for the no boomers that are watching this. Somebody, if you can call your mom and figure this out in the time. What? It's on what? The Twitch? What is that? This man was the first Prime Minister of India, served that role until his death in 1964, but most of us in the West just know him for a specific type of jacket. Emily knows. Emily called her parents, figured it out. 3, 2, 1, show him. What do we think, Chris? Any ideas? It's okay if we don't know this. Yeah, it's called a Nehru jacket, and his name was Jawaharlal. Did I say that? I hope I said it right. Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru. First Prime Minister of India, guys. Good dude. Question 7. What Japanese company, wildly successful today, was founded in 1889 to make handmade playing cards? 45 seconds. QVC, if you had taken a stab at that first name, I would have given you 100 points. It's too late now. 100 points. What Japanese company, wildly successful today, was founded in 1889 to make handmade playing cards? And your 23-second hint is they're still in the game industry. They pivoted pretty vigorously, but they're still somewhat adjacent. Emily gonna be mad. 3, 2, 1, show them. Excellent guess, Emily. Parker Bros, excellent guess as well. The answer, Nintendo. That's what Nintendo started off doing. They did that, and then they did like pachinko machines for a while. Fascinating company. Now they're doing okay, though. Found an Italian dude, jumps in pipes. They're making money. Question 8. In 2006, Ken Jeong's acting career took off, but it meant he had to quit his day job as a what? 45 seconds. What was Ken Jeong's job? Ken Jeong of Community fame, Hangover fame. But he had a job. And I'll be honest, wish it was my day job. A little bit wish it was my day job. In 2006 was the year he finally quit his day job. Ken Jeong's acting career took off, but it meant he had to quit his day job as a what? What did he do for a living? What was his occupation? I feel like this must have been a complicated conversation with his parents. 2-1. Yes, real QVC. You are right. Show him. Yeah. Everybody knows it. Good. Doctor. I found out recently Ken Jeong kind of a jerk. Somebody said he waited on him at the Apple Store, apparently. Sorry, Ken Jeong, if you're watching. I don't have any personal feelings about you, but... Question 9. Rama the 10th is the current king of this Southeast Asian country. One of the last remaining monarchies in the region. Emily says maybe a jerk also. Bummer. Hollywood goss here at Trivia Ronin. Rama the 10th. He also has a much longer name. But he was crowned King Rama the 10th. He's the current king of this Southeast Asian country. It's one of the last remaining monarchies in that region. Still got kings there. I just can't imagine being a king in 2021. Just feels like such a strange occupation. Your 8-second hint is, famously, there's a king of this place, and a woman named Anna. If you're familiar with musicals, show 'em. Bhutan, good guess. That is also, I believe, a monarchy, but I don't know that their king is Rama the 10th. But the answer is Thailand is not what I showed. Thailand is what I showed. Here it is. Thailand. King of Thailand. I'm going to do some work on the break and double check if the king of Bhutan is also Rama the 10th. I'm going to feel real bad. Question 10. This designer began as the youngest editor ever at Vogue magazine, but has become the most sought-after bridal designer of the world. Of the world? Sure. 45 seconds. And I don't know if that's fully true, but at least many famous people have worn this designer's dresses for weddings. I think if you know, when I looked this up, I know Michelle Obama has worn one of these dresses, but not to her wedding because she wasn't famous yet. But Chelsea Clinton got married in one of these dresses, as did Hillary Duff. So here we are for trivia. If you know who wore those dresses, good guesses coming in on Twitch. 2-1. Let's see them. Yep. Yes. Vera Wang. Vera Wang is what we're looking for. Chris, I'm sorry. That question just wasn't for you. Sometimes they're not for us, and that's okay. But here we are. That is one round of trivia down. That's your AAPI history. As far as I picked 10 random questions. So that's the history we got. So that's the end of round 1, guys. Take 3 minutes. Take a chill. I'm going to do the Trivia Rat scores. Bye-bye. Random trivia. 10 random questions. We're going to see how we do. It goes a little something like this. Rich Uncle Pennybags is the mascot for what product? 45 seconds. Product is an odd way to put it. But you've seen Rich Uncle Pennybags on something oftentimes. Rich uncle, born Richard Uncle Pennybags. That's not true, ma'am. We have a very curious cat here today. She may make a cameo. We'll see what happens. Rich Uncle Pennybags. He's the mascot for what products? You've seen him on something. You don't eat it. It's just a thing that you buy and maybe use periodically, perhaps with your family. Let me start Trivia Rat. Game on. Now it's in. 3 seconds to do it. It's back. Show 'em! Anyone on Twitchies? Nailed it, QVC. Nailed it, Chris. You're right. It is the Monopoly guy. Rich Uncle Pennybags. Official name of Monopoly Man. Question 12. In the last episode of Sex and the City, we learned Big's real name is what? 45 seconds. Mr. Big's first name. And by last episode, I mean formerly last episode before the reboot, which is allegedly on the way. But what's his real first name? We don't hear it for the whole show until the last episode. I think because they got married? I don't remember. All I know is Samantha had sex in my old restaurant. On the show, not Kim Cattrall. Samantha, the character, had sex in my restaurant. Excellent guess, Emily. Show 'em. If you guessed, yep. You know what? Chris, I'm giving you a half point because that's his middle name. His first name is John. His middle name is James. His last name is whatever it is. Whatever the heck his name is. Question 13. What dish, which is Gordon Ramsay's signature, is composed of tenderloin coated in foie gras, mushrooms, and puff pastry? Give me one. Real QVC, I would never, ever give Doug the satisfaction of his name being associated with someone like Mr. Big. Around Trivia Ronin, we call Doug Mr. Medium. At most. At most. It's on the record. He's not going to watch this, so it's all good. I hope he's in the Twitch chat. Oh, he didn't like Andy Reid versus Jeff Fisher. What dish? I mean, better coach. Gordon Ramsay's signature dish is composed with tenderloin coated in foie gras, mushrooms, and puff pastry. It is delicious, and it has a name. For those in the under the queen. Yes, show 'em. Emily's got it. Bangers and mash is a hell of a guess. It is not correct. Unfortunately, it's Beef Wellington is the name of it. Beef Wellington. It's pretty good. You should have one. I just waited on one of the managers at the London, and I'm probably gonna get something for free for me and the lady. Question 14. What is the only U.S. state whose name ends in its own two-letter postal abbreviation? This is one of those you're just gonna scratch your head for a minute. I'm gonna help everybody out and limit it to like a few. So we're talking, this state is actually east of the Mississippi. The state I'm referring to. So if you take its full name, and then you just take the end two letters, that's, if you wrote a letter to a town in this state. At 10 seconds left, I'll say a town that you might write a letter to. One of the towns might be, say, Frankfurt, the capital of the state. One town might be Lexington. She might write a letter to. One town might be Louisville. All right, show them. There you go. Chris got it. Yeah. Exactly. Just in time. See, I'm not a monster. Sometimes I'll give you some good hints. It is, of course, Kentucky. KY. Just like the lube. Kentucky. Question 15 is a two-pointer. Name both 1950s Broadway musicals featuring songs titled Maria. Go ahead. 45 seconds. There's two of them. And even if you don't like Broadway, you still might get this. Perhaps you like unnecessary Steven Spielberg movies. think they're singing it in the living room, but it doesn't sound like either of them in my mind. Okay, good. Just making sure. It's like it doesn't sound like either of the one I'm thinking of. They're both titled Maria. And honestly, both good songs. Emily's missing one of them. One of them's correct. Show him, Chris, what you got. Yes, of course it is. West Side Story and East Side Anecdote. That'll get you a half point. 1.5. Of course, we're thinking Maria, I just met a girl named. But then we're also thinking, how do you solve a problem like Maria from The Sound of Music? There you are. Sound of Music and West Side Story were the two. Both won Tonys, I'm sure. Until the euro replaced it in 2002, this country used the drachma as its currency. 45 seconds. QVC nailed it on both Broadways. Until the euro replaced it in 2002, this country used the drachma as its currency. And I'll be honest, they used it for more than 2,000 years. They've been using drachmas for a long time, these guys. Long time. Long time. Like before zero. QVC is still using drachmas. If you got a few old ones at home, they're worth something. QVC knew it. Show it, Chris. What you got? Excellent guess. Excellent guess, guys. Actually, I meant, when I said a long time, I meant a long time. Ancient Greece used the drachma all the way through to modern Greece. Obviously, they look different. Question 17. What's the only U.S. coin currently minted with a portrait facing to the right? And I will allow you to get to a change drawer if you need to. You have 45 seconds to look for your change. But one coin is this, and all the rest are this. Go find some coins. Marissa knows they're right by our bathroom. I can hear her rifling right now. I'm allowing it. This is allowed. You can't Google things, but you can certainly look through a change drawer. U.S. coin currently minted with a portrait facing right. Or the only one with a portrait opposite of all the other ones, because I suppose you could say this is the person's right. Or are you looking to the right? Emily, good guess. Of course, it's a 1 in 4 chance, right? Show them. Yep, a dime was what I would have guessed, but the answer is actually the penny. The penny. Am I correct, Marissa? The penny looks to the right? You got one handy? Can you show it to Chris? I would show it here, but I promise it looks to the right. Now you can Google it. Question 18. The phrase "jump the shark." There it is. Yeah, he's looking to our right, his left. Anyway, the phrase "jump the shark" comes from an actual episode of Happy Days where what character did exactly that? 45 seconds. Who jumped the original shark? It's pretty bad. The show's good. Happy Days in general. But sadly, after this episode, they really jumped the shark. I guess I'll give an extra half point if you know the full name of this character. Emily's got it. QVC had it ready. Had it ready in the chamber with the full name. Chris, you got it? He was wearing a leather jacket when he did it. Yeah, you're right. He was wearing a leather jacket and short shorts. Fonzie, or Arthur Fonzarelli is his full name. If you got Arthur Fonzarelli, it get you an extra half point. Question 19. The hardest split to pick up in bowling occurs when what 2 pins are left standing? And they have numerical names. It's not when Gary and Mike the pins, those two never fall down. I don't need their proper names, I need their numerical names. Super hard to pick this one up. According to bowlers, the hardest split to pick up in bowling occurs when what 2 pins are left standing? Splits are when the pins are split. Just a Trivia Ronin giveaway. Emily, good guess. QVC's got it. Yeah. Everybody else got it. Emily, so close. 7-10 split is what we're looking for. You can get a half point for 10, though. You got one of them. Question 20. In Southeast Asia, the rainy season is also referred to by this Arabic word that means season. 45 seconds. Fun fact. Fun fact. It just means season when they say this. I told you I was done with Asia questions, but I had one more for you. In Southeast Asia, the rainy season is also referred to by this Arabic word that means season. It's a real ATM machine situation. It's a real attorneys general situation. That's not that, but you know, that's just a thing. ATM. Yep. Emily, a 2-1. A monsoon is a very different thing, but I'll give you the points. But yes, El Nino's an excellent guess, Chris. But it was monsoon season. Monsoon. Mansoon, honestly, I think is a bar in WeHo. If it's not, it should be. Guys, that's 2 rounds down. Disney princesses. Things you can stick up your ass that are nutritious. And Black history.
Hey there, and welcome to Trivia Ronin.
Welcome to Trivia Ronin.
And welcome to Trivia Ronin.
Welcome to Trivia Ronin.
Welcome to Trivia Ronin.
Welcome to Trivia Ronin.
I'm your host, Douglas Larlam, and I'm not wearing pants.
As of August 2019, what is the top grossing film to hold an MPAA rating of G?
It's gonna be a nice, quiet, intimate show.
She murders deaf children right after they get cochlear implants.
Don't ever forget I can kill people I think about.
We make up for it by being less creepy than Drew Carey.
Shit's going down on Twitch.
It's like 4 dementia movies. I wanted to watch them, but I forgot. Remember movies in theaters when they made money? That was the thing.
I'll make love to you.
Am I supposed to wait?
Saturday night and you're on Twitch during a pandemic. If you're not drinking, you're doing it wrong.
It's a cat toy on a reusable straw.
Fuck with that algorithm.
This is Doug's tie, by the way.
You almost don't need a gunshot to die.
Doug, you think we'll get a lawsuit out of this one?
I don't care.
Don't fuck this up, McNelly.
If you guys were just fucking dumb, I'd be better at this as a host.
It was Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4. That came out in 2019. When was that? So guys, we have 10 questions. They are somewhat, as I was saying, they are going to be somewhat Asian inspired in some way, shape, or form. You'll see what I'm talking about with question number 1. What fruit is this? 45 seconds. What fruit is this? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Trivia Rat, the song has just begun in my house. Boom. What fruit is this? I'll give you a hint, because you may need it, because I feel like it can be misleading. It's about yay big. This is small. This is a small-ish fruit that you're looking at. I've actually never seen the shell of this fruit. Mostly this fruit comes in a can. Hi, Kaji Kunito. Welcome. You're just in time for the visual portion of our event. 2-1, show them. Chris, you know what it is? I mean, honestly, I don't know what a cranberry looks like in nature. I'll be honest. But otherwise, Sparklark, you got it. QVC, you got it. Hey, everybody, it's a lychee. That's what a lychee looks like. That's what a lychee looks like. Question 2. Who's this? 45 seconds. Speaking of, we were on the anime train earlier. What character is this? I think... Yeah. Sorry. Kaiji, we have an app as well that you sign up for at the beginning, but at this point you're in round 3. So what you're going to do is answer with like 5 seconds left and just answer in the chat. Otherwise, next time, if you show up at 7, we start at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, West Coast. And then you can play along with us with a QR code, if you're so inclined. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Right now, your answer is correct. Emily knew it. We're doing great, guys. 3, 2, 1, show them who haven't. Yes, my folks on Zoom, you are correct. Her name is Sailor Moon. And there are other sailors involved, but she's Sailor Moon. These guys, they're dancing the haka. They're a national team from the country of New Zealand in the game of rugby. What's the name of that team? 45 seconds. The New Zealand national rugby team. Yeah. Pacific Island, New Zealand. See where the theme comes in? I'll give you a hint. You can figure it out by their outfits. If you deduce. But the New Zealand national rugby team, best in the world a lot. Although I have a good, dear friend who plays rugby and despises them. But I feel like that's what happens when you're the Yankees of any sport. Or the Dodgers nowadays. What is their national team's nickname? The New Zealand blank. 3, 2, show them in there. The New Zealand rules team, aka, honestly, Emily, I'm going to give you a shirt and I'm going to give you the point. The New Zealand football team is a good guess. They're called the All Blacks. If you said black shirts or the Blacks, half point. Depending on what you meant by the Blacks, QVC. Up next, both of these people. We've asked this question before. I need both of these character names. If you would be so kind. Both character names. Each is worth a point. Each is worth a point. Sparklurk, you're doing great. But also, Sparklurk, wait until that timer hits about 5 seconds next time. But I'm glad, because everyone on Twitch about to get this one right. Thanks to Sparklurk, killing it. What are these two character names? One's played by Eddie Murphy. No, you're fine, man. Honestly, you're fine. It happens every week. Is there a prize? Also, yeah, I should warn the newcomers on Twitch. There's no prizes. If you're here, you're just here for fun. Mulan and her Eddie Murphy is an excellent guest. Yes, please show them. Oh, who's coming into my Zoom? Yay! Mulan and Mushu. Mulan and Mushu. Who's Jarrell S? I'm intrigued. Someone's in our Zoom that I haven't seen before. Next up, what country's flag is this? We've definitely asked this question. Definitely asked this question. Who be lurking on my Zoom? What country's flag? And again, when there's about 5 seconds left, throw it in the chat. No one's ever in trouble at Trivia Ronin. That's the fun part. We're here to enjoy ourselves. Salud. What nation's flag is this? The backdrop is something that this nation is very proud of. It's a landmark. It marks the land. Emily, good guess. Sparklurk knows it. Sparklurk knows what's up. Oh no. I'm a little upset at Larry right now. It's Cambodia, guys. It's the flag of Cambodia. That's Angkor Wat. Yeah, it's kind of a thing in my house. We do a lot of Cambodia stuff. Who's this? 45 seconds. Cambodia was the right answer. Who's this? Comedian. Very funny. Excellent tats. I binged her and saw this. We bing here at Trivia Ronin, by the way. Take that. It's better images, man. The image search is better. I'll say it. I'll say it right to Andre and Sergey's face. Or who is it, Sergey? Who runs? Whatever. I'll say it to their face. I'll high five Bill. New Bachelor, Billy Gates. Anyway, who's this? She's a comedian. She's very fun. Emily loves her, as famously Emily loves her. Her name is that. Yes, guys, good job. Let's see him over here. Yeah, everybody loves her. Good, because it's Margaret Cho, guys. National treasure, Margaret Cho. This is just, again, an image I stole off the internet, but it is a pretty quintessential still from a type of film. What type of film genre would this be from, most likely? 45 seconds. Big dance sequences, big weddings, good times, people popping behind trees, popping back. A lot of that going on. Fun hand gestures. Went to a wedding once, and the entire bride side broke into a synchronized dance at one point, and it was awesome. You think the electric slide is cool? Try to see some of this going down. 7 seconds left. What genre of film? Yes, Emily, you are correct. Spark Lurk knows what's up. We got any Desi girls in the house? What's up? Yeah, of course, you guys got it. It's Bollywood. It's from a Bollywood film. We've done this before. Who's this guy? 45 seconds. Who's this guy? Just all we need is last name, which is first name to Westerners, but surname, I suppose we could say. Who dis? Who's that fella? Who's that fella? John Oliver thinks he looks like Winnie the Pooh. I don't really think he's wrong. Except way scarier in general. Who's this guy? 3, 2, 1. Anybody on Twitch got it? Yeah, well, Emily, you are right. I was looking for a name, however. Yes, it is President Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping. This, it's a little tough to see, but I'll just say this is a military-themed Asian American or Chinese American bit of cuisine. 45 seconds. What military-themed Chinese dish might this be? Oh, President Lee. QVC. Pickle. So close. Wrong side of the keyboard. What dish is this? I'm hankering, man. Yes, I know I'm hankering for it. Twitch knows what's up. Good work. Every once in a while when you see this, you're like, ooh, I just want it. Show 'em. Everybody knows it, right? Military orange chicken will get you a half point just because I like how you wrote it. But General Tso's chicken. General Tso's chicken is what we're looking for. And last but not least, what skyline is this? What city is that you're looking at? The famous skyline of a particular town. Your hint is it's in Asia. This is the thing. This is the one that gives it away. That building, if you're familiar. I went to this town when I was a young man. That building was there, but none of those were there. None of them other big ones. This country has changed. Buildings get built, guys. QVC, I would like the city. I don't need the country. I'd like the name of the city, please. Emily putting down a city-state and thinking about where I come from. Good guess. Hong Kong's a good guess. Tokyo's a good guess. It is, sadly, nobody got it. Shanghai. This is what Shanghai looks like. Shanghai, China. And I think that's 10. Am I right, kids? That was 10, right? Taipei was a good guess. Taipei, in case anybody's wondering, Taipei had the world's tallest building for a minute, but it looks like this. It's like a bunch of... It looks like, honestly, a bunch of Chinese takeout boxes put on top of each other. They all fan out. If that question ever comes up again. But it won't. Unless it will. That's round 3, guys. That's Wayla. Tally up your scores. We'll be back in 3 minutes. For my newcomers on Twitch, what we do in the next... Take 3 minutes, chill. When I come back, I tell you a story worth 10 points. You could get 10 points. You could come back and win this thing, guys. Anyone who's new, you get 40 points for the story. See you soon. Bye. The story today, guys, about a woman who walked out of my restaurant and she didn't have money for the food she ordered. However, she did have enough time to ask me for another glass of water when in her hands was a full glass of water. And I said, I don't have an answer to asking for more water in a pandemic when you have water. So don't ask for more water unless you need it in a restaurant. Assume your server knows how to do their job because they probably worked through an entire pandemic. That's my public service announcement for the day. In the meantime, yeah, it's like asking a World War I vet if they know anything about machine guns and trench warfare. We know how to do this, guys. In the meantime, let's get back to the good stuff. It's story time. Welcome, newcomers. Good to see you. Just so y'all know, it's going to be a quick chat. I'm going to tell you a story. You know what? We hadn't done enough about English fops in a while. It's been a minute since my macaroni story, if you recall my macaroni story. So we're back to English fop territory. One in specific. This guy, prepare warning, trigger warning on stupid British names. Here it comes. His name is Sir Edward George Earl Lytton Bulwer Lytton. Yeah, he has Lytton in his name twice because his mom's maiden name was that. And then when his mom died and he inherited her title, he retook the name to be on the end of his name. That's English aristocracy for you. So anyway, let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about him. Why? I don't know. Because we're telling a story. He was born to an English general, was his father, and his mother, like I said, was a baroness. He was educated at Cambridge, got his BA, and won the Chancellor's Award for writing while he was there. He married a noted Irish beauty. Her name was Rosina Wheeler. Married her in 1827. They had 2 kids real quick, and then 6 years later, his infidelity and basic general attitude of being terrible resulted in them separating and legally separating, which was very rare at the time. His ex-wife would then write a book about his husband's hypocrisy under a pseudonym that almost got her sued for libel, but he never did it. And then she would spend the rest of her life essentially just mocking him in public. Despite that, he still somehow became a member of Parliament, first as a Whig, which at the time was the Liberal Party, but it's not really that, whatever. He was a Whig for a while, represented Lincoln, which is the town that Lincolnshire is named after, Lincolnshire. And after 20 years, where he traveled around, he came back, became a Conservative MP from Hertfordshire. He later became the Secretary of State for the colonies, which was a job. So basically, you were the English person in charge of all the colonies in a government under Lord Derby. He was friends with Benjamin Disraeli, who was a former prime minister, conservative prime minister in England, very famous. We'll probably tell a story about him at some point because I feel like we need one. He becomes a peer. He becomes a baron later in his life. He's offered the throne of Greece in 1862. The king of Greece at the time, a man named Otto from Prussia, steps down, says, "You want this gig?" He's like, "Nah." We'll also do a story about the king of Greece because it is one of the weirdest jobs in the world. Also, Prince, who just died, Philip, was technically descended from the king of... It's a long story, but the king of Greece is never actually Greek. And then he died in 1872. Bye-bye. See you later, Edward George Earl Lytton Bulwer Lytton. End of story. Just kidding, because what we're missing here is the thing he's known for, if he was ever known for something. And in this case, he was known for being a writer. So he wrote in almost every genre. His first book ever was in poetry. It wasn't very good, but he moved on to historical fiction, science fiction, playwriting, mystery, romance. He did it all. His first hit was a book called Pelham, which was focused mostly on like high society types in pre-Victorian England. Basically where everybody in the book was an analog for someone who's actually famous. And so people love to eat up his books, kind of thing, where they were like, "Oh my God, is that Benjamin Disraeli? Is that?" You know what I mean? People loved his books like that. So he wrote a bunch of them and he made a bunch of money. His most successful work was called Godolphin, which is a type of horse, but also a man's last name in his book. Again, just a book about rich people hanging out with other rich people. Historical fiction-wise, he wrote a book called Pilgrims on the Rhine. He wrote a book about the last days of Pompeii called The Last Days of Pompeii. He wrote a book called Rienzi, Last of the Roman Tribunes, which was about a Roman soldier in the Roman Empire. So he did a lot. He was pretty prolific, but then also he wrote a bunch of books on the occult, which is interesting. So one of them, he was what's called a Rosicrucian. And again, we're keeping the story short today, so we won't get into it too much. But the Rosicrucians were sort of a 1700s into the 1800s order of people who believed that there were these ancient texts that had the history of mankind written within them, essentially, that sort of explained the Egyptians and the Babylonians and all this stuff, and would link to the present day and could teach us things. They believed there was sort of a society of people who were hiding these books, kind of Illuminati-ish, the Rosicrucians. Anyway, that was their deal. That's a very bad explanation, so don't take that to anybody, but that's your short answer. He was one of them. So, he wrote this book called Zanoni, which is about an immortal man from the original kingdom of Babylon. So back when Babylon was Babylon, if you know what I mean. Back when Babylon was Babylon, Zanoni grew up there and lived all the way to essentially the concurrent times with our guy Edward. And he was a magician. He became immortal through all these teachings of the past, but he fell in love. He fell in love with a woman named Viola Pisani, but by falling in love, he lost his immortality. He couldn't be immortal anymore, so he becomes more and more human. They have babies, and he eventually gives up his immortality. So sad. And then he dies in the French Revolution, which I find amazing. Then he gets guillotined and dies. Good book, good ending. He also wrote a book that was a little more famous. This book was called Vrilya, The Power of the Coming Race. Now, what happens in that book is the protagonist meets up with this guy who's a miner, who's a friend of his, and says, hey, you want to go down and check out my mine? They go down, the miner guy dies. This guy gets stuck in the mine, ends up meeting this race of subterranean people. They are called the Vrilya of the title, and they have these superhuman powers. They look kind of like angels. They have wings, despite living underground. Don't worry about it. They're also telepathic. They can heal people with their mind, and they can also make people feel pain with their mind. They have that ability. The lead of the book falls in love with one of these Vrilya women. They go back to the surface, and he warns everybody that this, quote, master race from underground will eventually take over the world. Their cities in the book are powered by this fluid called Vril, which members of their societies can manipulate at will to get more energy, blah, 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 essentially sustain them and give them their telepathic powers. The Vril is a magical force that runs through everything that they can tap into, which for my money, I was like, hey, George Lucas read this book at any point? Sounds like it. Bovril is a product that came out around this time. If you are English or give a crap about anything English, Bovril is essentially Marmite, but it's made out of bovine byproduct. You don't want it, but he named it Bovril because of this Vril stuff that's supposed to heal you. H.G. Wells, by the way, if you're familiar with his work, his book, The Time Machine, about a subterranean race of people that rises up and takes over, that book was 20 years away. So H.G. Wells probably read our guy Edward's book. This book would also be picked up by a woman named Madame Blavatsky, who I will definitely tell a story about, famous occultist in the late 1800s, who ended up sort of running one of these esoteric societies. And then a bunch of people in Germany really dug Madame Blavatsky. They ended up joining the Nazi party and discussing how they felt like perhaps a master race was coming from this book. So this guy had a lot of influence, but for real, I just wanted to tell you all those random tidbits, but the real tidbits. This guy wasn't a good writer. I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody reads his books anymore. Nobody really cares. Nobody puts on his plays. But that Vril book I told you about is one of the first times any writer, or the first documented time any writer has said pursuit of the almighty dollar. So he coined that phrase. He also coined the phrase the great unwashed masses. If you've ever heard that said by anyone, that's a him. Most famously, however, his play Richelieu. He coined a phrase often misattributed to William Shakespeare, but he coined a phrase that refers to the power of the written word, although in this play it was about Cardinal Richelieu, who was famously a bureaucrat, or at least a government official, and the way the phrase was originally used was to connote the power of the bureaucracy over the power of the army, or anyone essentially armed. So my question to you with 45 seconds on the clock, what is that famous phrase that our boy, Edward George Earl Lytton Bulwer Lytton, coined? 45 seconds. Talking about writers. I'll tell you what, everyone on this Zoom call is a better writer than this guy. But he came up with some good phrases. And if you can think of the one I'm talking about, it's worth 10 points. Twitchers. Wait till there's like 5 seconds left. Throw it in the chat. You got this. And thank you for putting up with our long-winded story of the day. And with 3 seconds left, I'll say, I've tried many products like this in the past, Trebek. And if the penis mightier really works, I'll take a dozen. It is what it is, a great guess, Chris. But Larry got it. The truth is, he coined the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword. This guy, Edward Bulwer Lytton, eat your heart out, Bill Shakespeare. You got all the other ones. You got all the other ones, but that one's not yours. Because William Shakespeare, I believe, invented the word alligator also. Just a fun fact about him. We'll tell that story later. Anyway, guys, good work. Anyone on Twitch? Let me see some scores. I think Emily's the big Twitch winner. Even if she didn't get it, you still got 17. But Larry with 30.5 coming in with the Zoom win. Chris, excellent guess. Congrats to all the winners. QVC, guys, QVC gets a shout out every week on Twitch. He says, congrats to all the winners. He is the handshake of third grade soccer practice, and I appreciate you for it. Let's all get some orange slices. I appreciate you. Have a great night. That's going to do it for us here at Trivia Ronin. I'm Matt McNally, your host, saying again, hey, if you haven't done it, get vaccinated. Please. It's getting ridiculous. And also, don't be a shitty person. And we hope you learned something tonight. See you soon. Adios, Twitcheroonies.